Mr. Bemis, welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, all senators, for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Kim Bemis, and I am the chair of the local action committee for smart approaches to marijuana called SAMMn, and we are called SAMMn. SAMMn is working extensively throughout the country to promote science and understanding of the harms of marijuana, especially related to commercialization and normalization. Our public health position is that the current science does not support the commercialization and normalization of recreational marijuana. I approach this issue from both a personal and professional viewpoint. I am a person in long-term recovery, which means for me that I have not used marijuana since August 13th, 1988. Pot was my drug of choice, and I am an example that marijuana is an addictive substance. In short, marijuana ruined my life. I also approach this from a professional standpoint in that I have designed and run an online drug and alcohol intervention program for teens and their families called Go Be Support. Inquiries to my program run about 90% from parents concerned because their teens are using marijuana. The good news in the recent National Institute of Health survey is that marijuana use is down overall, but the devil is in the details, because in states where it is legal, they also have the highest rate of teen use than other states. Legalization leads to increased access. Unfortunately, marijuana is not the harmless plant that many people describe it as. Marijuana particularly affects the prefrontal cortex part of the developing brain, which is the part of the brain that affects decision-making and is therefore the most important part to develop in teens. Judith Greisel, in her book, Never Enough, The Neuroscience and Experience of Addiction, said, "So the changes in behavior that happen during adolescence are so important and lasting because the brain is forming permanent structures. So when the circuits are being laid down, if they're laid down under the influence of a drug, then they're going to be laid down differently than if it's not under the influence of a drug." Recent research from Canada that was published in the American Journal of Psychiatry tracked 3,800 teens over 4 years, showed marijuana users had significant cognitive impairment functioning as opposed to those that used alcohol. And there is now credible evidence that for families with a history of mental health issues, that marijuana use by teens can hasten the onset of psychotic events like depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar. In closing, decriminalization and improvements to the medical marijuana law can happen without commercialization. This is a very complicated subject. Minnesota does not need to be the 12th state to do so. 8 others have rejected. We urge the state to wait and see and let others figure out the best way to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bemis.